Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to talk about Injustice 2 Mobile and the fact that they never really do balance patches. So what is a balance patch? Injustice 2 Mobile might be the only game that I have played in quite a while that only adds to the game with new patches, new content and bug fixes. They never go back and buff or nerf older characters or older content. Of course with the exception of a rework, but I'm not really gonna count that because they are too few and far between. At this point it happens to the pace of once a year and that's simply not enough. And look, I am not a game developer myself. I don't know how much work, how much time, how many resources get into reworking a character and if it's worth it for them. But I know for a fact that tweaking some values to increase some character potential and make them a little bit stronger is not gonna take that much time and that many resources. And they used to do this. They used to do this in the past, all the way back to the first patch that released after League Raids, all the way back in 2018. So we got the first patch after League Raids, and in that patch they felt like the characters were dealing a lot of damage with projectile third special, namely Predator Batman. And yeah, for Predator Batman it's a projectile third special for some reason. Emerald Green Lantern, Multiverse White Canary was meta pack then, believe it or not, and they went ahead and nerfed the projectile damage in general in-game, making all those characters special 3 not be as strong. And they received a huge backlash from the community because of that. And from that point on they decided to never ever again do any type or sort of balance patch. And as far as nerfing a character in Injustice 2 Mobile, it is naturally the best place to do it considering the type of monetization of the game, because people are going to pay money to get some characters. They're going to pay absurd amounts of money. It's $100 to get a 4-star legendary character, and it's only fair that they expect those characters that they have purchased with real money to be as strong at least as they were in the moment of purchase. And that is a fair point considering you can acquire them with real money. But not being able to nerf character is not necessarily mean that you don't really have to buff characters as well. So just buffing characters won't be a problem, because when you just buff characters and never nerf them, you're going to encounter a problem when there's too much damage in the game and it's no longer balanced. But that's not really gonna be a problem. This is not a PvP game, so it doesn't really need to be balanced. It needs to be more fun than balanced, and they don't really care about damage balance, as we've seen lately with the absurd amount of damage that newer characters do. And I honestly don't mind it. It's fun. We went from having Dawn of Apocalypse, where the absolute best team would deal, let's say, 500 million damage, where we have two teams that deal 2 billion damage possibly. And I don't mind that. Nobody minds that, because you're not going to encounter that when fighting another player. It's not frustrating to you in any way, shape or form. It's just clearing content faster and it's more entertaining for you. That's never going to be a problem. So it won't be bad to go back and buff characters so that you bring older characters on par with current characters, or make adjustments so they're more fun to play. And if we have more team diversity, then people are going to be likely to spend more money on the game to have all those characters, and you benefit as well. Now I'm going to give you a few examples of what specifically I mean by this buffing of characters, because it's going to be something that should not deviate from the core of the characters, because then we will get into rework type of things and then maybe more effort needs to be put into it. All I'm talking about here is doing the minimum effort possible for the maximum outcome possible. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first example, we have the Just League team. Just League team is going to be amazing for new players, but eventually when you have all the teams in the game, you're going to cycle this team out. And while this team is good, it's not gonna be comparable to teams like Influence Sakumen team, Deathstroke team, League of Anarchy team, even not to Batman Ninja team at this point. How do we fix this? You can increase the damage that Cyborg gives with the passive. Or if you want to also make some money out of it, make it so that the passive goes higher than level 5, because the newer characters introduced into the game are going to have all the way to level 7 passives. If you want to make this team stronger and also maybe make some money out of it, because people might want to buy this character to get shards or maybe spend gems to get this character that they might spend money to get, so make it so that his passive upgrades all the way to level 7, and the damage for the Just League teammates instead of 300 is going to be 500, so we get 300% at level 5, 400% at level 6, and 500% at level 7. And then you're going to bring the Just League team not to a broken point. It's most likely not going to be as strong by far as the Batman Ninja team, for example, but we're going to have most likely a team as strong as the Batman Ninja team, obviously, without the Beta Club included in there. But yeah, this is, for example, one way that you could do it and requires minimal effort. Multiverse team is another team that used to be a very good team and now it's more or less a joke. Except for league rates, they're still finding league rates. How do you fix that in a very simple way? Do you see this value over here? You increase it. Make it so that it's going to be, let's say, 80% damage against burning opponents, and it's going to go all the way to 100% more damage against burning opponents at level 80. This way you're going to make this character much stronger, and at the same time you're going to give people a reason to get her to 7 stars, and then try to get her to level 80 to get the absolute best out of this passive over here. And again, it requires minimal effort. Influence Aquaman, my boy, it's the only character in the game that's currently hurt by the damage cap. The damage cap was introduced in the first place in the game to keep Influence Aquaman balanced so he wouldn't deal as much damage with percentage hell damage, but then they go ahead and add into the game other ways to deal percentage hell damage that bypasses the damage cap, so currently there's absolutely no reason for damage cap to exist. But if for some reason can't just remove that, make it so that instead of doing 3 times per battle 10% hell damage, it deals 10% hell damage all the way up to 30% health damage, so that if it gets hit by the damage cap, you'll keep doing third specials until he reaches that 30% health damage, same way as it works with Batman Laughs and as it works with Deathstroke. Nowadays, because of the meta, Manta himself has been left a little bit in the dust, of course, for the pay-to-win side of things, at the very least for the free-to-play. If you get yourself a Black Manta to high enough star rating, pair him out with Raven and he will be your best team, but instead of doing that, you could buff this passive. Leave it the exact same way it is over here, but instead of 100 maximum stacks, make it 150 or 200 maximum stacks. So that it is going to be something that's going to depend far more on how well you play it, and is going to be far more punishing if you mess it up, but at the same time you're going to have the possibility for so much more damage, maybe even double the damage if you play it correctly. And my Manta could go from dealing, let's say, 300 mil damage to dealing 600 mil damage, and I would be so much more happy with him. Another way you can simply buff characters is by tweaking the values over here. Because of the values over here, Injustice 2 Mobile is such a game that can be easily balanced. You can easily buff characters, you could give them more base stack, more base crit damage, increase their crit damage cap. I'm not sure that would be too easy to do actually. But something you can do, for example, for Batman Ninja Catwoman, and yes, I know the Batman Ninja team is strong, especially for the pay-to-win side of things when you have Beta Club, but for the free-to-play side of things, even though it's a very strong team, it's not gonna hold a candle to the League of Anarchy team or to the Influence Aquaman plus Nora Snowglobe team or to Deathstroke. So what you could simply do to increase a little bit the performance of the Batman Ninja team is by giving Batman Ninja Catwoman 3 fast seconds instead of 2 of them. Again, I think it's something that requires minimal effort and could be amazing for the game. Another thing that you could do is change things that don't bring any gameplay value to the game and are purely RNG based. For example, this man's passive, which is going to be the chance to power steal on the 3rd special. Remove the chance type of deal, remove it. The chance type of thing is going to be something that brings me happiness when it happens and makes me very frustrated and disappointed when it doesn't happen. And makes me want to delete the damn game when it doesn't happen 5 times in a row, even though mathematically that's so unlikely. And this guy is not even a very strong character, just remove this. Make it so it has a guaranteed power train effect and everybody would be happier. Another thing that you could do is change trash modifiers. We've already established that when you go over here and you see you're going to receive more attack, that's going to be garbage. Because in Injustice 2 Mobile, attack in soul raids means almost nothing. You need more damage, or you need more damage against a specific target. So instead of attack, just change this value to damage for Batman teammates, and that's going to make this character far better. Go ahead to Vixen and change the attack from damage, same as it wrote first of all when you released it, and make it work as damage, and that character would be so much better. But yeah, my point is, there's so many simple changes and tweaks that can be made to this game to make the meta far more versatile, to make far more teams usable, to make the new players have more opportunities to use more characters. And it's going to be very simple. It doesn't hurt the game's balance in any way, shape, or form, because we still are going to have the Raven League of Anarchy team, the Batman Ninja team with Beta Club, the Kinflan Sakom, and Raven with Beta Club towering over those teams. So instead of leaving the other teams at 10% the performance, it wouldn't hurt to increase them, let's say, at 30, 40, 50% of those teams' performance. Doesn't make those teams less strong or less broken or not the best teams in the game. It gives you some variety to use on your, let's say, last 3 slots in terms of soul rate fights. But yeah, all that being said, this is all I had to say for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, disliked it. If you disliked it, let me know in the comments what you think about this, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
This is the future.